filled with what Marcia told about the naufra and the situation. But I will try to get it down to life staging and see how can that connect to the current situation and also to art. I prefer not to talk about therapy. I meet with groups, and mostly it is in supervision and families or other group for personal growth. So life staging is something I have developed through the years. I started practice in the mid-70s, and by then I was a child psychologist, and I used the sand tray. And you're familiar with the sand tray? Yeah. And through that one, I thought it was so a rich way to understand or get a glimpse of how is the situation for this child, what's inside, what are they experiencing. We had these cognitive testings, we had all this, but the sand tray was for me something that really was good. So that's my practice. And then I, of course, in the 70s and 80s, we had these talking therapies, and I was also into psychodrama with multiple protagonists. And with multiple protagonists, meaning that you can jump in there. So it's kind of wild, but it was fun. So I'm just telling a little about the background. And then in 88, I met with Michael White. Maybe familiar for some of you. He's a narrative therapist in Australia.
Sorry, Elizabeth, Michael whom?
White. Michael White, yeah. He's a narrative. So I was in the systemic through the family therapy, and I was in the psychodynamic and psychoanalytics as being a psychologist and psychotherapist. And then I came into the narrative. So these are the melting pot for me. And after many, many years of talking, and I'm also an old painter and a designer. So after this continuous telling about the background to know how to do with the future. And these long stories, these people sitting tiring in supervision groups, in other groups, or fighting, or whatever there was. Then I felt, let's see how much details we need to be helpful to one another. So it started like supervision in the dark. We called it like that. So we tried to take away more and more verbal information. And through that and my research in the narrative paradigm in the 90s, this started to evolve life staging, which I call it. And life staging is challenging, but also could be an addition to the talking cure. Because it starts with no initial verbal information, but tons of information beyond words. So I'll tell you a little bit about how I use it. First of all, my position as an expert or therapist or the like is I'm backward bending when it comes to content, forward bending when it comes to structure. I'm not producing content. I don't interpret. I don't have any psychological theories that has to connect to what is happening in the here and now with the group I meet. My expertise is to provide the safe place, like you were talking about, Marcia, and Ofra also, to providing the safe place for people to seek within. So many things have been silenced, I think, and slumbering, not used in the professional world, where we have these different cultures saying, that's not professional, that is not okay, that you should, shape up. And have you had all these educations? Otherwise, you are not very smart. Things I would